wanna chill with you, vibe with you, take you all around the world and shit. Yeah. Yada.
K. Forest.
Last week you said you needed a vacation. Yeah. Hold up, wait, where we going? We could pack a few bags, but where we going? We got points, so where we going? Baby, point to where we going. Hit the flare in the streets, but we might get lost. Pedal weed with the sheets, now the lights go off. Balcony views if we use to the cityscape. Showed in the nude on this vacation getaway. Robes in the closet, bottle by the bed, Versace on the floor, room service getting head. I've been to Atlanta, brunch in DC, crashed out in Vegas, did Dallas for the week. Phones in the drawer, sent to DMD. We can always travel on fucking Airbnb. Yeah, we've been to Seattle, O's in Vancouver. Wish I would've hit Colorado a little sooner. We blew kush clouds in that beach in the Bahamas. Made a present to the essence with the aunties. Hit the road, yeah, hit the cheddar. All around the world and get the whole plan set up. Cause we ain't been to LA, we can go to Philly or we can go to DC. Yeah, Cubans in Havana, bottles up in Houston, but this time I ain't losing. Yeah, we can hit Key Largo, go ahead or Charlotte, or pull up to Chicago. I don't really care, we don't need a plan, I just wanna take you there. No, that's too far. That girl, her favorite song, alright, alright, alright. Yeah, we going everywhere but somewhere. Ooh, we going everywhere but somewhere. Somewhere. We going everywhere but somewhere. Ooh, we going everywhere but somewhere. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I can't feel my face when I'm laying in the space with you, doing things we ain't supposed to do. Yeah, yeah. We going downtown, baby, downtown. We can go around now, baby, how now? We can get away somewhere real far. Take you to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, to Qatar, to Qatar. Cause we can go to, where are we going? Yeah, 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 yeah. Where are we going? Where are we going? No, this is too far. I'm playing that girl, her favorite song, we're alright. Cause yeah, we going everywhere but somewhere. Going anywhere. We going everywhere but somewhere. Somewhere, baby, around the world. We going everywhere but somewhere. Ooh, we going everywhere but somewhere. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Alex August, and this is my channel. Welcome to the channel. Whether you're tuned in right now on YouTube or on Twitch, just want to welcome you to it. And of course, drop the drop as normal, as per usual. If this is your first time checking in, go ahead and hit the chat. Let me know you're here. We're going to be talking about a couple of different topics, everything from Art Basel recap, Art Basel Miami weekend recaps, to GTA 6. I have not had a chance to really deep dive into that yet, and talk about my feedback, talk about what I think some predictions might be, and then of course talking about the uncasual moviegoer, talking about my recaps for 2023 movie of the year, and of course last and finale, talking about some upcoming streams that I have that are coming in the pipeline, that are happening in the pipeline, that you guys should be aware of and expect to see. A lot of dope stuff is coming. A lot of doper stuff, I should say, is coming. And so as those things roll out, especially at this time of year, it's the holidays. I know a lot of people are traveling. I'm super excited about 2024. So I'm just ready to kind of get those things rolling out and becoming
reality and bringing those things to fruition. So if you are tuned in, if this is your first time with the chat or with this stream, jump in the chat. Let me know you're tuned in. Let me know that you're here. We're gonna do some Q&A. Like I said, I'll be looking for some feedback on what we're gonna be talking about. And of course, if you're not subscribed to me as of yet, or if you're not following me as of yet, definitely hit that. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications for new videos, shorts, and of course live streams just like this one here. I'm still in South Florida following Art Basel Miami Weekend. For those that don't know what Art Basel Miami Weekend is, Art Basel is a massive art exhibit that attracts, art lovers, art buyers, art brokers from around the world. And twice a year there's a show. One show is in Switzerland. The other one is in Miami, Florida. The Miami, Florida one takes place usually, I can almost bet that it's always the first weekend of December, right over in the Miami Beach area. That has happened every year. I don't even know when it started, to be honest with you, but I do know that culturally and just from the way the city started to grow, Art Basel expanded into an area called Wynwood when Wynwood started gentrifying in the mid to late 2000s. And sometime around 2009, Wynwood kind of picked up this really big spirit of Art Basel and kind of morphed it into its own thing, right? And so all of Miami during Art Basel weekend is very, very art, very, very much art. It's very artsy. Through the years, some people may say that it has gotten very pompous, very kind of, it becomes that thing, right? Social media obviously attracted a lot of people's attention to it. People started taking pictures next to art and looking really, what I like to call Judy funny, right? From the TV show Doug. And so it's just grown into this really big thing. Whether you are into it or not, kind of, I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, what I like to say is it doesn't really matter if you're into it or not. It happens every year. And there's a huge value to it. For young creatives, both from Miami, not from Miami, it's a huge opportunity to be spotlighted, to be featured, and to be recognized for your art during a weekend that is so big and so focused on recognizing artists, right? Innovation, creativity, kind of, the daring, bold jump, whatever that may look like. That's really what's on focus. So throughout the weekend, there's just a lot of events, a lot of people, and a lot of networking, a lot of just really good stuff, good energy going on. And so I'm here. Obviously, I am from Miami, Florida. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that are tuning in, I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm born and raised. And I like to always tell people that um, back in the day, you didn't go to Wynwood, right? One of my best friends who is actually on here pretty frequently. He's probably busy right now. He's on the West Coast. He used to live in Wynwood, and it'd be like it's time for him to go home, and we'd kind of all be like, all right, bro, you're gonna have to head down that way yourself, right? So the gentrification definitely happened. Wynwood is definitely kind of the epicenter of like where art, fashion, creativity kind of meet in Miami, or at least it was for some time. Things have definitely changed, and I want to talk about that for the most part with this stream. Is like how much of Miami just seemed different. I come down here often. I've been down here probably 4 times in the last 5 weeks. I spent a considerable amount of time in South Florida, going back and forth to Miami. But I will realize and I will admit that like I haven't been down in Wynwood, right? When I say I'm going to Miami, I'm going like Aventura Mall. I'm going to my mom's out in North Miami Beach. I've been in Miami Lakes. I've been in Miami Gardens, Opelika, Carol City. Like if you want to use those names, traditional names, I don't say those names to like prove that I'm from Miami because I'm from Miami. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one of those people. My phone number is literally still 305. So and so going down this weekend was just kind of different. The energy was maybe a little at one part there's this new thing, this new trend where now I'm suspecting, and I can look it up, we can Google it together and all that kind of stuff. But I'm suspecting that Art Basel has really started to clinch down on the use of that name for events. In the past, they didn't care. They probably did not care because they're just like, we're the largest art exhibit in the world, or one of them at least. And this small urban hip hop event that wants to call itself, whatever Art Basel edition. Nah, we don't care. We don't even know about it. We're not policing it. We don't care, right? They're not making the money we're making. And I think over the years, I mean, every year there's plenty of events that do this, but I think over the years they've probably likely cracked down on it, or there's just a need from both sides, kind of the city and the local events, and big name brands and big name corporations are now having events down in Miami, Art Basel edition, blah 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 blah. And I think now it's just gotten to the point where I think both sides are really wanting to just create that separation. I remember my first Basel back in like 2013. And like I say my first Basel, meaning like my first time legitimately dedicating time and money to going to Wynwood for the Art Basel experience. Because I remember 2011 was my last Miami Beach, like Memorial Day. Going into 2012 was we could talk. I mean, you guys remember the notorious bath salt zombie attack that happened in 2012. And then 2013 was when it was like, okay, like everyone was like, all right, like, dude, the South Beach thing is just, it's too much going on. Let's go with something more. Let's go with something more, mature, right? And so, kind of flipping that over, everyone started going to Wynwood. The Art Basel scene started really popping off, and I think that that's where it's like, okay, missed 2013 one, hopped over to Basel for 2014, and so that first year, I saw Erykah Badu DJ. Like BET had a massive tent installation, and so it's like it's a lot of activations, a lot of installations, a lot of just like pop-up shops and events. If you've never been, obviously, if you have, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? This year, I mean, throughout the years, I've always told myself, and I posted about this on TikTok. Like I always told myself, I was like, it would be dope to host an event during Art Basel. I think, in the last 5 years, I've really started putting the focus on like, it's cool to have a creative year that ends in Miami, my hometown, for Art Basel, where you're either watching other creatives get celebrated and you're attending an event and you're watching them celebrate it, getting celebrated, and you're celebrating them as well. Being able to witness that, being able to kind of talk to people, being able to rub elbows, as they say, being able to network, meet new people, see ideas, and just kind of get perspective on like, hey, I'm from Miami, I live in Tampa right now, and like, what are other people doing? Okay, this guy has this thing, he does this event, it was really, really cool. Years ago, I went to an event, or I was going to an event called, what was it called? You Had to Be There. There we go. The event was called You Had to Be There. And it was this really cool event where it was just like, you had to put your phone away. Like you had to put your phone away in a locker, and you had to just kind of ride out like that. Like there was no phones allowed. And it's like, oh, well, what if you have a good time? And like, did you take pictures? And it's like, nah, man, you had to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like that concept, these creative concepts for events. A couple years ago, inspired by that event, I threw an event called "Who All Gonna Be There?" Right? It's a question that everybody always asks whenever it comes to, events and things like that. Like, who all gonna be there? Like, all right, well, we gonna find out. You got to be there. So that my thought process behind Art Basel and events is always that it's a good way to close out the year, right? It's a good way to close out your creative year and just kind of take things wherever you want to take them and kind of move in that direction and move how you want to move. But over the years, it's definitely been a thing. And 2 years ago, I remember making a video where I was like, I really, I'm going to continue going to Art Basel. The events I think are cool. Being able to see hometown friends is cool. Being able to run into just different people from all over the world, realistically, is cool. Um, the walking down, Wynwood and walking down Northwest Second Ave. Am I getting a little too old for that? Yeah. Sometimes it's like, all right, I'm not gonna just walk down this road, just be walking down this road. But you definitely run into a lot of different personalities, a lot of different characters, a lot of different people who are doing a lot of different things, and it's really, really cool to rub elbows with them, just in very impromptu situations. And so I'm happy to say that after 2 years, after those 2 years specifically, that I was actually able to host my own event, right? So, well, not my own event, but in meeting the sponsors, they saw a great opportunity to have me as one of their hosts, which is like 1,000% an honor, right? A massive honor to just be able to say that I not only hosted the Culture Freedom Festival as one of the hosts, but I was hosting alongside two powerhouse heavy hitters of hosts. On one side, you have Miss Ingrid B, who has been in Miami's art and poetry scene since I was young, y'all. Like since I was like a kid, right? Went to church with her daughter, went to church with her. Um, like I've always known that Ingrid does events on the B side. Like that has been a staple in Miami for as long as I've known. So shout out to that. Shout out to that movement. Shout out to her. And then being on the other side of that was comedian Razor, who ironically I also remember and knew from when I was a teenager, like 16 years old, sneaking into the good old um, Coconut Grove improv, right? So here I am sharing the stage with these two heavy hitters for the first time hosting a Art Basel event. Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better pair of people to be next to. So, like I said, like coming into 2023 and hosting the Culture Freedom Festival was absolutely dope. I'm extremely grateful to the whole team, to the whole group, obviously, and first and foremost to Simone Hilton for bringing me on board to be part of that. A lot of people over the last couple of let's call it a year, over the last couple of years, like they've met me as like creative video storyteller. And I think that it's good to remind people that the L in Marvel World definitely stands for live events, right? And just me being a heavy hitter on both on the mic and as well as the event coverage. So it was amazing, yo. A beautiful, beautiful event. A lot of joy. I think at one point I had to just like, which I do this a lot, throughout my day, just kind of stopping and just like taking in the air of just, yo, like this is really happening right now. You know what I mean? Like on one hand, it's you dream of things and you plan on things and you write things down as your goal. And you're like, man, that goal just seems so big. And sometimes big, big, big goals seem bigger than reality. And then when you're in that moment, it's almost like you're trying to be like, oh well, it would have to be like this. Like, no, 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 no. Like this is that reality that you talked about. This is that reality that you dreamed of. So just being in that moment, like I took a just moment to just like look around while I was on stage, having a good time, listening to music, DJs blasting music, vibes are happening, people were shopping, over towns, like high rises are up, like there's just it was all of this energy. I'm like, oh wow. And here I am years later hosting during Art Basel. Like, oh man, this is dope, yo. This is dope. So it was amazing, man. An amazing time. If you were at Art Basel, let me know what you went to. If you've ever been to Art Basel, let me know like what year did you go. Like, tell me a little bit about your experiences. I'd definitely be interested um, in learning what you guys think about Art Basel, or if you've ever been, or if if I even described it to its fullest. It's an amazing event, man. It's a really good time. And of course, people always mention like it's so pompous. People fake it, It's very like, and I think the softest way I could say it is I think you can be authentic in a world full of fake people. And you can also appreciate that some people are really good at being fake to the point where it's an art. So sometimes being fake is an art too. And during a weekend like Art Basel, I mean, you have to just sit back and just recognize who's who and just say like, wow, these people are good at what they do. There are definitely rooms that you can go into and you can say, hey, blah blah blah. People say the same thing about LA, but I think, and I actually felt this past weekend where me and my homegirl Cherie went to an event at the One Hotel in South Beach. And that night, my options for events were either Artlanta, which was like a black tie event. I had change of clothes. Just for those that don't know, I keep a change of clothes on me almost at all times, at least different elements that I can shake. You know, I have no shame in saying that. Number one, I'm flat footed, so that matters. Number two, um, I never have a problem changing shoes. Like, I sometimes keep a change of shoes in my car because, bro, I'm flat footed. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna do this, and then my feet are gonna hurt. You know what I mean? Never been. How often is this? Art Basel is yearly, annual, every year. First weekend of December. So they'll say like I think it's realistically Thursday to Sunday or longer. I'm trying to think of what the official like Miami Beach Convention Center exhibit dates are, but I know it's more than likely like Thursday to Sunday, if not longer. But the festivities, kind of the more cultured. Wow, that sounded bad. The more urban activities and the Miami stuff is like Wednesday. I was going to events as early as Wednesday. So Wednesday to Sunday, I was at events pretty much every day. Do I have a recap of the events? I do, right? But man, oh man, it's a lot. I've just gotten to a point. You should absolutely come check it out. But I feel like also people who go to events in New York and LA, I try not to gas things up too much because realistically, sometimes there are some events that in the look and feel of it, like people in New York and LA are just like, we do this every weekend. Like this happens every weekend. So I don't ever want to like gas it up too much. But I will say, if you ever get an opportunity to hit Art Basel, by all means, please do. Um, yeah, if you get a chance to fly to Miami, get your tickets as early as possible. Come on like a Thursday night, Friday, or Friday, but be ready for traffic. Whatever day you come, just be ready for traffic. Be ready for jacked up Uber prices, and be ready for some crazy, you know, some crazy walking and being in rooms with people, like I said, that are just probably not showing up as their most authentic selves. But I think I don't know, that just doesn't bother me. But like I was saying, I was at the One Hotel on South Beach, and I'm at like a dressed up like ditzy super fancy. Like I don't like saying super fancy because what is fancy? People were dressed up, okay? People were dressed up, and I was not. I was not, right? I was was in black overalls, black combat boots, white undershirt, and my hair was in a ponytail. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure I'm practicing some safety. Yeah, I was in some overalls or a work suit, jumpsuit, whatever you want to call it. I'm from the 90s, I say overalls. Um and people are in Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada, the whole nine, they're in all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, who cares? Like, I have shown up in what is my authentic self. Like, if clothes is a way of expressing yourself, I am now expressing myself. And I think most people would have been like, oh, you're underdressed, blah, blah, blah. That outfit got me so much attention, y'all. So much. Was not expecting it either. I thought I could really just be like a fly on the wall in a space like that. We're talking second floor at a hotel, close to the conference rooms. I'm walking around and it's just so much like, and it wasn't like looks of, it weren't bad looks. They were looks of just like, kind of like, wow, this guy's, I like this. Like, look how he showed up. And then I found out that some of the looks were also he might be one of the artists, right? It was like, oh, is he an artist? Is this guy an artist? He's dressed like an artist. All I needed was like a little bit of paint on my clothes, and somebody would have been like, oh my God, where's your art? Which one of these is yours? I would love to talk to you about such and such and such. But it was cool, man. It was definitely a lot of attention, both good and bad. But it was cool. I was able to parlay and politic and talk to a couple people. There was a group of black people. We all saw each other. And it, you know how that goes sometimes, right? It officially becomes the cookout and everybody's just having a grand time. So it was cool, man. It was cool. I can't emphasize how much like I'm just in a space now where I'm realizing like you don't got to do all that, yo. You really don't. You do not have to do all of that. But yeah, the other event that I was going to go to, Atlanta, I thought about going to that, and I'm actually kind of glad I didn't. I'm kind of glad I didn't. But V, what kind of like are there a lot of art shows in LA? Have you been to any like art shows or like? I'm trying to think of what could be the equivalent. Well, I would imagine the equivalent to like Art Basel in California would definitely be like an award show. Like Grammy weekend is probably, obviously the Grammys are the focal kind of epicenter of everything going on, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of like random parties that are just throwing like Grammy edition at the end of it and stuff like that. Almost, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But people talk about the fakeness and stuff, and I'm like, you go to any big city where things matter, and you're gonna see people being fake. Like you go to New York and people are talking about themselves, and they're like, yeah, I'm this and that, and I'm that and that, and they're not. You go on LinkedIn, and people are glorifying what they do, right? So it's to me, it's almost normal. It's like second nature, and I find that just because other people do it, don't mean you have to do it either. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm Alex, and here's my handle. I know that some people will like meet you in the streets. I was talking to my friend Rich Rocket about this. Like they meet you in the streets and they're like, hey, what do they say? Like, yeah, let's follow each other. And then they go follow you, and then you follow them, and then they unfollow you so that you just keep on following them. Like that's just people, man. Like it's don't I tell people all the time, don't stress the little things, man. You do not have to stress the little things. But yeah, man, Art Basel was amazing. Well, Art Basel, I want to say this. Culture Freedom Festival was amazing. And like I talked about a little earlier, there's like a separation that's happening now where Now it's Art Basel, right? Art Basel 2024 is going to be next year. And then the rest of Miami is just doing what's called Art Week, right? Miami Art Week, to create that separation between the two things. Then there's an additional separation that is called Soul Basel, right? Or Soul Basel. And the reason why Soul Basel is happening, that is, wow, that just kind of does something to the airway. The reason why that's happening, Soul Basel is happening, is because Wynwood, very, very much a black neighborhood, or a black and Hispanic neighborhood back in the day. I actually used to go to church in Wynwood at a church that was built in, I think, 1907. Okay. It was like really founded and brought up during the Spanish American War. That church is no longer there because they went up to the church and was like, hey, look, we'll give you $40 million if you guys clear out this church so we can have this land. Okay. Miami developers, that's how they operate. And so Art Basel is relatively white. You're trying to have events. Long ago, you had a very diverse range of events put on by different people and stuff like that. People want to make sure representation matters. And as Wynwood has expanded, so has the gentrification. So you can live in Wynwood now. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. It gets so loud, but they're going to complain anyway. And so that started to encroach into an area called Alapata, as well as historic Overtown, which is one of the oldest black neighborhoods in Miami. And so they want to make sure that they are preserving, appreciating, considering, celebrating, recognizing, and expanding the reach of the art that's already there just by their sheer history, right? So Soul Basel is the Art Week experience that happens in Miami Overtown. That sounded very long-winded, but it's history, it's facts. I don't want to just say like Soul Basel's the black version of Art Basel. Like that's kind of obvious. Soul, right? Just like there's a circus, and then there's the Universal Circus. Like yeah, it's probably a black one, right? So and the Culture Freedom Festival celebrates natural hair care. It is led by the Natural Trendsetter Salon and their products, My Royal Coils. But outside of just the hair, it's also like community, commerce, right? People hopefully we have not all abandoned the idea of buying black and supporting our community and things like that. And then again, like I said, there's just so much history down there that's, hey, why not? Like, why don't we do this? And so Soul Basel was great. Culture Freedom Festival was great. I actually should say this, but I've never been to the actual Art Basel Miami Beach Convention Center exhibit. I've actually never been. I thought about going this year, and I did not want to go alone, and I did not want to go without my girlfriend, so I didn't go. But everything about the Wynwood events, that's where I was kind of conflicted. That's very much where I was conflicted. And that's why I want to find out if anybody went to any events in Wynwood, if they went to any events in Little Haiti, to find out like what was the vibe like. I was not impressed. And I think, unfortunately, I can only go off of between 2 and 3 events that were in Wynwood. But I feel like 2 to 3 events is a pretty good gauge of things just not being all that great. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just kind of want to find out what everybody went to. But I'll kind of go down a list of some events that I went to. So on Wednesday, I went to an event called something special, and it was at MAD, or a club called La Ultra. Right? It was free, so that's not bad, right? Never, you can never go wrong with a free event. That event was cool. It packed out very quickly, and then I realized that like I'm back in spaces where they're playing nothing but 90s R&B. Um, oh boy, you guys know me enough by now. I love 90s R&B. I don't love DJ sets and events centered around 90s R&B. I can tell you why. One, I think it limits us too much. Two, I used to host a 90s R&B event, and I don't think a lot of people really do them very well. I think there's a way to do it, and you do it so good. Like it has to be an experience. I don't think you just play it and let everybody just kind of do your thing. I think it has to be an experience because it's a theme, and themes need experiences. That's just me. But yeah, overall, it was straight. It was good. It just packed out a lot. What I did like, and shout out to him. I gotta remember his name. He also DJs at the Urban sometimes. DJ Aya, right? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Man, the Afro beats set this guy put on was amazing. Afro beats on piano. If you don't listen to that, it's a really good genre. It's amazing, right? It's just amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, let's see. Thursday was the selection, which was actually ended up being right next door to where I was the previous night. So long drives to to Wynwood, the Oasis Wynwood, the selection. Oh man, you know what, y'all? I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I don't remember if I paid or not, and that's crazy to say out loud. But I got the tickets a while ago, and I did not get them. I think I did pay. I want to say I paid $15. Yeah, I paid $15. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So Thursday was the selection featured Andre Powers. He's from LA. So V, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Andre Power, but he hosts the Link Up, which was also an event throughout the weekend as well. Much better, much better, much better event than the night before. Massive DJ sets, cooler DJ sets, but also a lot of just. I think it's kind of this is just my preference. I feel like there's levels to like going out, right? There's the level where level one is like you just go out and you're just like, yeah, I just wanted to get out the house. Level two is like I got out the house and I wanted to socialize. And then level three is like the music was great and I really wanted to get into the music. And then I feel like level four is like I want to fucking dance. Okay. Like I wanna like cut up. If there's a dance floor, I would like to be there. Just whatever comes to my body. Just you know what I mean? Like that's what I think of level four sometimes. And I wanted level four on Thursday. I wanted level four at some point throughout the weekend, right? Um, it was ambitious, it was hopeful, but that's what I wanted. And that it wasn't the case, which doesn't change it. It wasn't a bad event. I just really wanted that night, and it was a large crowd, and it made it kind of difficult to do that. So unfortunate, but nonetheless, it was cool. Um, what was on Friday? Friday is when I went to the one hotel. That was great, actually. I just knew when to call it a night. It was one of those like got out there around like 7 o'clock. I think I got home around 1, and I'm like, yeah, you just got no one to call it. Like, all right, bro, like it's cool. Like I can get up out of here. Um, and then Saturday was Ebony Forward, and Ebony Forward was great. Um, Art Beat and Lyrics. also was that night as well. And Art Beat and Lyrics, both of these events are free. Um, Art Beat and Lyrics was great. Actually, it was kind of missing something. And I think that Raekwon is a legend. I will never take anything away from him. But me personally, he's not my favorite member of Wu Tang. And I think there's a disconnect when you book big time like New York DJs in South Florida. We did not grow up listening to that. I think a couple of people may have, or they may have family from New York and things like that. But like just the large New York heavy sets don't work well in Miami. That's just me personally. But it's always good to go to our beat and lyrics. It's an event that I go to every single year. You just run into so many people you know. There's Jack Daniels everywhere. There's food everywhere. There's food trucks. They have like a karaoke truck where you can go in and you're like in a recording studio. It's a really good time. Ebony Forward was also mwah, 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 just gorgeous. It was an amazing event. I am so glad that I waited in the line, yo. The line was long. At one point, I was like, I don't know. This is taking long. I asked if they were at capacity. They said they were. So I was like, we might not get in. Got in. The Temple House is amazing. Simply put, it is amazing. There's just like a lot of projections. The entire roof and the walls and ceiling of the building become all projections. And Ebony projected every single one of their covers, major covers, most popular covers on the walls, on the ceiling. It was gorgeous, y'all. It was just beautiful. Everybody was dressed super nice, including myself. The exhibits were cool. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see some of the photos that I took there, and then Art Beating Lyrics, like I said, was that later that night. So it was chill, nothing crazy. But I think that where they're just off people and the interactions were a little weird. Yeah, but it is what it is. So this year was definitely a top year for me, considering the hosting of an event. I could have done with one less event, which I didn't even talk about yet. I'm not gonna badmouth it. I know too many people involved, but I will say that I think organization is important. I'm not gonna badmouth that event. But yeah, what do y'all think? What questions do y'all have? What It's always interesting to hear when folks have never been to Art Basel before. Um, but it was good, man. It was a good time. And yesterday the events ended at 7 o'clock. And y'all, I don't know how I did it. I do know how I did it, but I did not eat all day yesterday until probably like 9 o'clock, which is nuts. Absolutely insane when I think about it. Um, Started off the day and just I just was on 1,000 miles per hour. I had a Celsius, and we just kind of got into it, and I just did not eat. So all of last night was just spent just trying to figure out if I was gonna go to this party or not. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to a party. I'm gonna hang up the boots and I'm gonna turn it in. And so I am still very much feeling yesterday right now. So that's that. I'm gonna take a quick break though, y'all, and I'm gonna grab something to drink. And I'm gonna come back. I'm definitely gonna come back to talk more about um what's to come, and talk some recaps and social media and everything like that. So stay tuned, y'all. This is I am Alex August, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, we're back. And it's time to talk about Grand Theft Auto. There we go. That's the energy. It is time to talk about Grand Theft Auto. For those of y'all who have not had the opportunity to catch this video, I'm going to share it right now. We're just going to talk and walk through it as soon as I can find it. Jesus. This video, this trailer has been kind of crazy, right? This has come up. I've got some videos on my YouTube. I got some videos on TikTok about this, but like Grand Theft Auto is currently on its 5th iteration. This new trailer that just dropped, for y'all that don't know, that don't play games, is Grand Theft Auto 6. The last Grand Theft Auto, which is 5, came out in 2013. Like, I purchased it on Xbox 360, which now sounds so long ago when you say that, right? Xbox 360 probably came out sometime, I don't know, in 2006 or something. It was long-lasting game console, kind of a competitor of like the PS3, I think. So, listen, it lets you know that number one, we've been playing the same game for a very, very long time, and number two, we are anyone who has played that game for a very long time is extremely excited for this game. You have to just forgive us for being this excited about the game, okay? Like, just let us have our moment, right? And here we are. This is the game side by side clip up, but you have Miami, you have like we had Vice City back in like 04 or 03, I think. 03. We have Vice City. This takes Vice City to such a different place. Like, I can't even emphasize to you how crazy this is that you now have Miami, you now have the Keys, you now have Tampa, you have Orlando, you have Southwest Florida. Obviously, this is all like for show to kind of tell you that like they're really bringing that Florida man energy into the game. Like, that's all this is, right? But I also think that something that they're kind of showing that they're not saying, which is there's going to be a social media platform within the game. GTA 5 definitely has like the internet. There's an internet, there's blogs, there's like tabloids and stuff like that. But like to have a social media platform within the game means that you can go viral in this video game. And that to me is where I'm just like, that's crazy. Like your crimes in the game may probably be able to go viral in the game and you can get notoriety. There's like social status to be had in the game, which is just insane to me. So I don't know, like you guys, if you're on my Twitch, if you see me on YouTube, you know that I'm getting, and I'm not saying it like, oh, I'm getting back into gaming. I've always played video games. I just haven't played very popular video games. I played video games the same way like older people probably make puzzles. Like, I just do it just to kind of pass the time and keep my brain on edge, you know, and just keep me on edge. But my question to you guys is, what do you think of the new GTA 6? What's the craziest thing that kind of stands out to you? What do you think is going to make it like the best game ever? Do you love it? Do you hate it so far? And will you be playing in 2025? I got to just bring it back up because I really want to run it back. But 1 second. I love it, man. Like, this game is just having the rumors for the last couple of years talking about the possibility of GTA 5, going to Detroit, going to blah, 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 and all these places, and then seeing it go back to Miami is absolutely, absolutely insane. But yeah, it's amazing, man. Like, this is just crazy to me. There's been a lot of rumors about the protagonist being trans, which I don't care about, and I don't think that's relevant. And it's, you know, it is what it is. Like, if they didn't say that she is, then I think they're just making stuff up. I'm very like confirm the details or not. That's Wynwood. You've got the club. You got people who look very Miami, South Beach, Deco Drive, Ocean Drive, and then that. I kind of want to go back to that really quick. We're just gonna do a quick pause because that looks like a barge over on that side. And you just have all of this, right? You have the plane. This is clearly the Keys. You can kind of see what the 7 Mile Bridge, kind of like a condensed version of the 7 Mile Bridge is. The old walking path. You have cruise ships. So you're definitely gonna be able to swim, definitely be able to, do boats like normal, planes like normal. It's just a huge, huge map, which makes it so exciting to see. Because I love me an open world game where yes, I can do missions, but I can also do side quests, I can do side missions, I can get lost in my own kind of things, I can kind of navigate my own. There's no restrictions on where I can go or what I can do or all that kind of stuff. So to me, easy answer on this one, y'all. I am 100% playing GTA 6. I know it's gonna be just the size of this map, the DLC, and all that kind of. This game is gonna be crazy, y'all. It's probably gonna be hella expensive, probably like $130. I'd imagine $149. But I mean, I hate to say that I would spend money on that, but it does very much look worth it. But what do y'all think? Are you getting in on 6 or are you leaving it behind? I decided to replay 5, so I'm playing 5 right now. Trying to just work through the game and doing missions all over. I've actually never gotten very far in 5 at all. I've just played the game and kind of done my own thing. Now I'm trying to do the missions and actually keep the storyline progressing and seeing how much more I can get out of just gameplay for that game. But that game, I will probably need a 1 terabyte hard drive for that, which I don't have. I don't play video games enough. The 500 is fine. If I find that I'm not playing a game anymore, I just delete it and just keep moving. But what do y'all think? Are you in on 6? That and then now there's new news that there's one part of the trailer where there's a guy that looks basically like he looks like the Joker. And apparently all of these scenes here that you see, they're saying these are real stories. So this guy right there we go. This guy right here is actually now trying to sue Rockstar Games for up to $1 million for using his likeness. And apparently his name really is the Florida Joker. So all of those little clips that we've been seeing in the trailer, these are real people, or real, like they're callbacks to real things that have happened in our good old social media world. These are events that have gone viral. These are, actual like people. I don't know how they thought they were going to get away with using so many people's likeness, and not having a. So that's a true story. Like all of these are actual callbacks to real events. So like alligators in pools, that's not a specific thing. That happens everywhere in Florida. The boat, what I think the boat is likely a call out to an area in Miami called the Hollover Inlet over by Hollover Beach. There is a whole YouTube channel dedicated towards people failing to get out or into the inlet by boat because the water gets so choppy that like it actually takes down most boats. But like I mentioned, you actually have this like social media platform kind of thing here. A Poppy, say some sugar baby for the rest of us. This guy's got some girls on his boat. You got like a comment and a like button up at the top. So they're not playing with this GTA, man. You've got that. You've got this, like I said, callback. This is from a real clip. These happen often. Alligators going in stores. This was a true story. This was a true story. That's a true story. Like all these are just little call outs to real things. Hammer Woman is, I think, is her name. All things are just call outs to stories and viral clips that come out of Miami. And now Florida Man Joker or Florida Joker or Miami Joker, I think his name. Miami Joker is his name. He's just gonna kind of take advantage of that situation and roll with it. And if he can get an attorney, he might be the one person in that entire trailer that can legitimately win in court, because that is very much his likeness. You wouldn't be able to connect the two dots together if it wasn't so close to being his likeness. But I think that game's going to be dope. I think it's going to leave a lot to the imagination. I'm just going to pull out what the map is going to be. Florida Joker is his name, and they definitely used his. If you Google just GTA 6, it is definitely the first thing that pops up. All right, so, oh man. Let's see. Okay, this is a pretty good image. That's not an image. That's a video. Okay. So let's just grab this real quick and show just exactly how big this map is gonna be. It's kind of cool, yo. Like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. All right. Oh, all right, here we go. See if I can share my tab. Just gonna share it briefly so y'all can see. Actually, no, we're not gonna do that. We have two cameras. These streams get a little complicated with how I manage them, but I love the fact that I have the option to use two cameras, which just adds a lot of like dynamics. You know what I mean? Like, I can do this, and it makes my stream feel like, I'll say how Paul said it. It looks like cable. So let's look real quick at what this map looks like. Huge, dude. So essentially the entire map is, and I'll shout them out, man. Shout out to TGG on YouTube. Just gonna use this quick clip of your channel. This is what the map is gonna look like, which doesn't look like much, but in comparison to that GTA 5 map, that thing is huge. So you'll be able to go Miami, Palm Beach, Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, Monroe County, looks like Collier County, a little bit of Leon County, and some random island that's off the coast of the world. Like, it's crazy, man. Really, really crazy. I think a lot of people were probably a little disappointed about the 2025 release date, but we'll all be okay, right? We'll survive. We got GTA 5 to hold us over, and we've got a lot of Call of Duty that we can play. But if you're tuning in, man, we're just talking about GTA 6, the recent trailer, some of the announcements on that, and just kind of getting it into it. I recognize that I got a lot of new subscribers, both on Twitch and on YouTube. So I want to make sure that I'm tapping in and getting in good with you guys as you guys join the channel and kind of get accustomed to a lot of the content that I'm going to talk about. I typically talk about anything from events, definitely talk about movies, the hot topics. You know, I like to kind of chime in on things. But my kind of bag and where my bread and butter really is in movies, kind of a little bit of personal development, but more on like the personal journey, right? I'm not a personal development person. I'm not a coach. I'm not gonna tell you about how to do this and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I may tell you about how to do is just like how to be yourself, right? Just how to just jump into unlocking the version of yourself that you always have to lock away and put away and stuff like that. And for me, like I be talking about these topics sometimes, and y'all probably see the little gleam in my eye, and you're like, that motherfucker's a geek. And I love that, right? Because that's just that those are the topics and those are the things that I love. And if you love them too, if you love talking about music and movies and like travel and searching for things on your own, man, hit me up. Jump in the comments. Definitely comment on my posts on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, and of course, let's connect, man. This is what it's about. So I also want to definitely talk about that as well. I am pretty much excited about the fact that like I'm looking at my Twitch recaps right now, and Twitch has grown. It hasn't grown a lot. Like I posted this the other day. I think it was Saturday on my story on Instagram, where it's like I'm not looking to have things be like, oh, you know, I this is not the window of time where I've gained 10,000 followers, but I have crossed some milestones that I'm like OD proud to say that I can finally say. Number one, on Instagram, I finally have crossed 2,000 followers. And like to me, followers and subscribers, if you guys are people who follow me like right now, just to let you know, I can't see who's tuned in right now. So if I were to kind of be monitoring that stuff, I feel like my eyes wouldn't be on the camera, and I feel like it'd be a little distracting, right? I like to keep this feeling like it's you and I talking. Um, but if you follow me on any social media, you know that I check in with people, right? I have conversations with people via DM, like, hey, you posted this thing. How do you do that, right? If you're ever live on Twitch, I'm gonna tune in and say, what are you playing? Where are you from? Like, I meet people. On TikTok, I do the same. Like, you comment on my stuff, I'm gonna go on your page. I'm gonna understand, like, who are you? What do you do? Like, is this a human or is this one of them AI influencers? Like, and the reason why I'm like that is because I don't know, like I've always pretty much been like that. Like we are, if you're a millennial, if you grew up in the 90s, you grew up in the era of like AIM and MSN chat and Yahoo chat rooms where real people were connecting and talking to real people about real people shit. What did you have for coffee? Like all of this stuff. And so to me, I've always just been like that on social media as well. I meet people, we follow each other, and we follow each other. Like I know what's going on in your life based on what you post. You know what's going on based on in my life based on what I post. And that's kind of it, right? It's amazing to be able to grow your channels and your platforms with strangers who connect with you, right? Who connect with your message, who connect with your content. But I also think as the content creator yourself, it doesn't hurt to like, hey, how are you doing? Hey, how's your dog? How's the weather in your city? Oh my God, you lost your job. How, like, I know that this company is hiring, like, just people being people on the internet, right? And so, if you do follow me, I know I've got new followers, I got new subscribers. When I'm talking about this growth, when I'm talking about all these things, it's just a dude who's excited because I'm seeing the numbers, I'm seeing the needle move. Um, So feel free to hit me up, is what I'm saying. Follow me on all channels. I am Alex August. That's YouTube, Twitch, the whole nine, right? No need to say about the bell and all that. I'm just saying if you want to connect on a platform, that's my name. But I finally have crossed 2,000 followers on Instagram, which took really long, really long. But at the same time, too, I only started my Instagram page in 2020. So, and half the time I had no idea what I was going to do with the page anyway. Thought it was supposed to be a burner account. Um, I should tell a story about that. I should definitely tell a story about that. All right. So So in my previous marriage, I, at some point you kind of realize things are going down the toilet, right? You just realize like, oh, this is going to shit. Like I don't know how we're gonna fix it yet, or how we're gonna destroy it yet, and all that kind of stuff. I was just like, I don't know, like, but I know that this is going to shit. And so at the same time that that was happening, my Instagram was getting shadow banned because I kept trying to DJ on live during the pandemic, right? We all remember that everyone was DJing, doing shot challenges, upside down push-up challenge, and all this kind of random stuff. And one day I was just like, yo, fuck, man, I can't like get the reach. Like this is frustrating because all I got right now is a little bit of me time, a room, and whatever. And so I started my page, which I have now, which is at the time it was not I am Alex August. It was my previous username. And so I'm like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do that. And I was like, oh, let me just send all of the people who I follow, who I really want to follow, like right now. Let me send them over to my new page. And I'm like doing it, like going on a share profile, share profile, share profile. And one of the times I'm like hitting Mr. Marvel, Mr. Marvel, Mr. Marvel, Mr. Marvel. And I don't know how Instagram was just like, hey, what if we just put like this name right here? And I clicked it and I'm like, I just heard it like, voop, voop. And I was like, looked at it again. I'm like, oh yeah, that definitely did not land in the destination it was supposed to. And it was like, oh, well, like, well, yeah, yeah, whatever. I'm starting a new profile. Like, it was supposed to be a burner account at first, but whatever. So that's the story on that. If you guys have ever had a burner account, or what is it called? A Finsta. Finsta. That wasn't going to be the purpose. It was just going to be an account that I was going to just live life through, and she wasn't going to know. But whatever. If you're laughing at that, I hope you're laughing at it. If you're like, damn, it's fucked up. Oh well, it happened. It was 3 years ago. But going back to what I was saying, grew that account on that. Yo, my YouTube is easily gonna hit like 10,000 views for the month. I'm excited about like everything is just growing. Like Twitch is starting to grow, my TikTok is starting to grow, YouTube is growing. I don't care for Twitter anymore, unfortunately. It's there. No, it's there, right? I don't know that anyone still cares about Twitter, including Elon Musk. It's such a heavy platform. I go there and it's like news and news and news and news and think piece, think piece, think piece. And um, there's no check all, unfollow all on any social media platforms. So if you want to really craft and shape up what you're following and your feed looks like, man, you got to really go in and you got to click one by one and go on a person's profile. And I just don't want to do that. But at the same time, Twitter is where a majority of my following is. And it has always been like that since, I used to do radio in college, right? So it's really hard to kind of do that. And so yeah, that's it's just growth all around. Coming off of the tail end of hosting the Culture Freedom Festival, shaking hands, meeting people, and just like so much opportunity is around the horizon right now. 2024 is right around the horizon right now. It just feels good, right? I'm tired as shit right now, but to be honest with y'all, I'm extremely, extremely like unbelievably excited. A lot of excited energy in me right now. Um and let's oh, and my newsletter is also growing, man. So it's just, dude, it's just so much good. Um that I now feel in the midst of realistically what was starting to feel very not good. Um, Things have been tough over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months. I have been, I was let go from a job. And of course, when people are like, hey, I'm sorry you got let go, like, hit me up. I'm a resource to you. My resources to other jobs have been let go from their job. There's massive amounts of layoffs happening. Um, I don't know if it's exclusive to tech. I have not looked. I don't know if I have the purview to really see that, but I do know that like there's just been a lot of layoffs. I just got a message this morning that a colleague of mine from my old job, he was let go of, and most of his team was let go. Right, just lay off and lay off. It's heavy, yo. So when we use social media as a way to market ourselves, to build our profiles, to demonstrate our services, our talents, our creativity, our time, talent, and treasure, the amount of time that goes into these things, when you do see it grow, I want people to recognize that it's not always about like someone just being vain and saying like, yo, I just want 10,000 followers, just want 10,000 followers. Like, no, like that means I'm doing something. I'm using a strategy or I'm doing something that is working and it's growing. And, my page is all about growth. It's about the journey. It's about the vivid life. I was journaling the other day at the same time of like, I'm journaling on one side. At my home, I have a 3 screen setup. And I'm journaling on this side. And on this side, I have Canva open. And I realized that um, I've never given a clear definition of what the vivid life means, right? So my company is called Marvel World, which stands for My Real Vivid Life of Writing, Recording, Live Events, and Development. Um, my apparel line is Vivid Life Apparel, right? Stars and Roses. Like I've been saying these things, and I'm like, man, I don't think people understand mm, how deep into the conviction of what I'm doing I am. I phrased that sentence so like not right. I don't think people realize how deeply help me, guys, help me. Okay, I don't think people realize how deep my conviction, okay, in what I'm doing and saying out loud in public is. Damn, that was like the 2028 Olympics, right? Um, Vivid Life Apparel, My Real Vivid Life, Marvel World, all of these things. It all kind of, and I recently did an interview with the Voyage Tampa magazine, which now that we're here, y'all, now that we're here, y'all, now that we're here, now that we're here, guys, now that we're here. um, yeah. Um, in that interview, I talked about that like Marvel World started during the pandemic. My first YouTube video that you probably will stumble across is My Real Vivid Life. The end is the preface, which I shot as like a mini docu series on my phone. It was supposed to be all of my Instagram stories from the year 2020, kind of formed into a kind of like a mini documentary series. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to go back and download your Instagram stories to your phone. I'm just learning that Instagram has a completely different experience for Android than it does for iPhone, but it's rough on our end. Um, and so I just realized, like I said, like the pandemic was happening, and my idea was that 1 million people died from COVID, and 1 million people more have died probably after COVID. Um, now we're watching genocide and all that kind of stuff happen. People are just dying left and right, right? 20,000 people have died in 50 days, 51 days, 52 days, however much it is. And we're just kind of like living life, right? Um, and during the pandemic, I just was, I'm going through a divorce. Life is changing, life is happening, and I am in control of what happens next. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, hey, yo, bro, like you could be a 30-year-old divorcee, single guy. You could be a 30-year-old single guy who's never dated before because you never had to. No, I'm playing. You could be a 30-year-old single guy who's never dated before, and this can be the worst thing that has ever happened in your life. You can be like, oh, well, whatever, F that, B, and this and that, and just I could be or like you could just like write down at the time I was 30, I was going to turn 31 the next year. So I was like, write down 31 things that you want to do. I don't care how crazy they are. I don't care how dope they are. I don't care how they could be some everyday shit that you want to do that maybe you didn't get a chance to do it when you were 25. Maybe you couldn't do it when you were 27, but just write it down and go do it. And I remember I wrote like 31 things, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll try. Like, I'm like, all right, I just wrote it down. It's like halfway through the year. I'm like, I don't know if I'll even be able to do that, but and then I did like one thing, and it just was all right. Look, why don't we just like legit, like for real, screw the list. Let's just kind of blow in the wind, like on some plastic bag shit, bro. Let's just blow in the wind and let's just go and create this life that we want to live. What is that life gonna look like? And by 31, I want to say that at least like 15 or 16 of those things were done. So I got through half of the things in half of a year. And so by 2021, I created this idea of Marvel World. And I was like, I now know what I want to do. If you're living life, if you're traveling, if you're recognizing that you're in spaces and timelines of transition within your life, you might be on a journey. And if you're on a journey, I feel like there's a story to tell with that journey. And so I came up with the idea of Marvel World being a storytelling based company, right? Using writing, recording, live events, and developments, and kind of just keeping that as the kind of the heartbeat. But again, in the last 2 years of Marvel World, of videos, reels, people don't really understand what the vivid life is. And I finally, the other day, I wrote it down. I was like, the first part of the vivid life, it was like pillars and stuff. It was like journey to purpose. Like these were like really, really deep. Cause like I said, I was journaling on this side and I had Canva open on this side. In the middle was Chat GPT. Cause I just wanna, hey, does this sound crazy or not? My artificial intelligence advisor. So journey to purpose, just talking about like life has to be about figuring shit out. Like I can't imagine what life is if at the end of it we don't at least feel like we tried to figure it out. People talk about, also if I'm ever on my deathbed, don't ask me what my regret is. I'm about to die. Like, can I not die talking about a regret? Like, how do people do that? When you walk into a room, my bad, y'all, this is a tangent, but like you walk into a room and someone's dying and you're just like, yo, shit, bro. So like, what's your biggest regret? Like, what the what? Anyways, forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, I just, you're on a journey and you want to at least try to get to what your purpose is, finding out what you're going to do with your God-given talents, what you're going to do with your God-given time, what you're going to do with all of these things. And then there's the other part, which is I'm really big on individuality. individuality, meaning like you get to be who you want to be, right? I talked about earlier going to this like ritzy ditzy party on the beach and just showing up in freaking overalls and just being like, I can walk in here confidently because I know who I am. Like I know y'all might be whoever y'all are, but like dress code wasn't enforced, right? Because they clearly let me in and no one treated me differently. No one treated me like, oh, like you're not, because I walked in as myself. You know what I'm saying? And overalls is my jam. Like I actually like wearing overalls now. I think they're cool. It make me feel. You can't hold your piss too long in them because you might not get them off. And then the other part is the reason why individuality is so important because community is important. Community is huge. Like all of us need that. All of us need a tribe. All of us need a community. All of us need to be part of something, to be part of like a grain of salt, a grain of sand on a beach, which I literally wrote it in there. And then the fifth one, ooh, wait, don't, I'm supposed to be learning these by heart. I'm tripping. The fifth one, going to my notes. The fifth one, damn, why can I not remember it? Journey to purpose. Oh boy. Oh man, why can't I remember what the fifth one is? This is crazy. Journey to purpose, individuality. I think it's like appreciation of talent, and skill. And then the last one is stars and roses. So it kind of goes from like small piece here, like something small to something big. Stars and roses pretty much representing that, they talk a lot about the rose that grew from the concrete. And I always find that so interesting that's like people use that as a phrase to define like overcoming the greatest things of challenges and stuff. And I'm like, I think it's a great imagery, but I think the how I look at imagery sometimes is like if you know how things actually work in the universe and in nature, certain things should not be highlighted as such. Case in point, if you go to Greece, there's roses growing out of the concrete fucking everywhere, right? That's the one place that I remember that happening because I tried to pick one and they told me I couldn't, right? I went to Olympia and like literally there are roses growing out of the concrete everywhere. And I'm talking about these are 5-foot roses and stuff like that. But I think when you look at that image and you think about it, it's like what nature is trying to tell you is that it really doesn't matter where you're at. Your purpose is to grow, right? You can't always choose where you're going to grow, but one thing you need to know is that you're going to grow. Concrete, sand, beach sand, freaking, soot, peat, sheetrock, bedrock, man, you know, 1,000-year-old magma, lava, sand, whatever it is. Like, dude, your purpose is to grow. And that is very earthy. That is very based in being 10 toes down on earth. That's the rose. The stars is that all of this, our journey, all of these things mean something because it is our destiny. Like it is, I fully believe that we are destined to be what we are going to be. And it's just a matter of whether or not we accept that destiny or if we don't. So I wrote that in my journal, broke it down really. And those are now the 5 pillars of the vivid life. And do I need to have it? Is it going to be on? Is it going to be everywhere? No, but I think if somebody were to ask me like, Alex, you're always talking about the vivid life tour, the vivid life this, the vivid life that. What is that, right? I don't have to say those exact things that I just shared with you guys, but I could, if I can at least talk about it in context, I think that'd make for a great conversation. And also, those are 5 things that you can talk about in any given space where you get to learn somebody. Go on a date, talk about what somebody believes individuality is. I bet you'll go further than you talk about some bullshit about splitting the bill 50-50. Like it's just something that I was working on. And so I really want to introduce that alarm that just went off is my marker because it's officially at 90 minutes. But I want to introduce now a new thing, which is now that we're getting the YouTube going, we're getting the Twitch going. Um, you know, Instagram is just Instagramming. Like I'd be on there, but I really want to start getting into this more, having these levels of conversation and having it with like-minded people. I was talking to my brother and my sister-in-law the other day about moving from the city, leaving the city and going somewhere else. And they were asking me about it, and I was like, one of the reasons that I'm so kind of in this mindset right now is because the city lacks community. By city I'm referring to is Tampa. Like Tampa lacks community. And after I had that conversation with them and I left and I went home and I'm like chilling, I was like, man, I was wondering to myself, did that conversation sound like it lacked accountability? Right? It's like, ooh, the city lacks community. It's like, but are you looking for community? Are you leading community? Are you building community? And so I kind of took that on as almost like a little bit of a challenge to myself of like, you know what? Not for nothing, Alex. You don't have a platform that has 10,000, 15,000 people on it now. But if you stick to these values, right, and you implement that into your platform, it could be something. It could really be something crazy, 13 years ago, I started a web show just like this. I was streaming, right? Before streaming was this big mega thing that it is now. I sat in my bedroom at 10 o'clock every other night or whatever the pattern. Well, I don't even think I had a schedule. College kids, right? 10 o'clock, I would go live. And that shit turned into a radio show, right? It turned into so much. It turned into a business based on these small little things like blah, blah, blah. And so for me now, I think I might not be able to build a community in Tampa, but shoot, if I can build my own community of people who understand what I value and what I cherish and what I'm trying to build and what's important to me and what I think is shit. Sometimes it doesn't have to be important. Sometimes I do want to come on a stream and just talk absolute garbage, just trash talk, water cooler talk. I want to talk trash about the fact that the Eagles lost to the Cowboys last night. I want to talk trash about the fact that, let me make sure. Give me 1 second. Oh, freak. Come on, Detroit. Either way, the Detroit Lions are playoff bound. Like, I want to talk trash about that. Who would have thought, right? The Miami Dolphins are good this year. These are things that sometimes I just want to talk trash about. But then I also want to be able to talk about in-depth conversations about life. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't always, unfortunately, happen in the physical location of where you live. But the beauty to the internet is you can connect with anyone and to anyone, and you guys can figure out the rest from there. So what I want to announce is starting this Wednesday, these streams are now going to be called Vivid Life TV. And Vivid Life TV is 100% going to be celebrating those 5 items that I talked about. In its core of the content, it's going to talk about the journey to purpose. I want to talk to people about their journey to purpose, where they are, where they've been. Let's talk stories. Let's talk about win stories. Let's talk about where we fucked up. Don't ask anybody what their regrets are. That's going to be like a thing on the show. I don't ever want to hear the word regret because I hate when people talk about regrets. I don't know why. It just makes me very uncomfortable when I hate it. Talk about travel, talk about journeys, talk about life, talk about fashion. Like, talk about these things. Have people on air with me, right? That's the old Sorry, y'all. That's Mango just running around doing whatever she wants to do. That's the old radio head in me. But like coming on these videos, coming on these live streams, having guests and having amazing and dope conversations about what the vivid life is to me and what the vivid life is to other people, and just building that out. So this Wednesday will be the first live stream of that. I 100% thought that I was going to be able to share um, a photo. Give me 1 second, y'all. I thought I was going to be able to share a photo, but I'm realizing that I can't. So I gotta try to see if I can turn this into a video. I probably can't. Like, what am I doing? Like, what's happening right now? Either way, oh, I think I got it. There we go. Give me a second, y'all. Damn. Oh, that's gonna go hard. All right. Just bear with me, please. Yeah, I just, I'm excited about this, bringing this to life, and making it a thing for real, for real. I just, I get to a place sometimes where I realize that, like, yo, you could do something with something, right? Like, this thing could be a thing. And yeah, this is good. And I just got to that place, and having this platform, seeing it grow in real time. My bad, y'all. Having this platform, seeing it grow in real time, and already like in a place where you're putting in the work into that platform, I think it's dope. And so I'm excited, right? VidLife TV will be this streaming platform, is how we will use this streaming platform, both on my YouTube as well as the Twitch, right? Being able to tune in, and I 100% would love to have guests on there as well, right? And just taking it to that place and taking it to that platform. And so here we go. Years ago, years ago, I talk a lot about like, this is just a flyer. Oh, there we go. I talk a lot about like the fact that I did radio in the past. I talk a lot about the fact that I also did podcasts, right? And to be honest with you, I've been asked about podcasting a few times. Yo, what's good, Paul? I've been asked about podcasting a few times. I actually do a podcast now. I'm on a podcast with my boy Justin, Just Cuz 305. We have a podcast called Blow That Shit Out. But I was never like a big podcast person. I prefer live over anything. But I also love the fact that like you can podcast a live show, right? You can take a live show and you can have it recorded and move it around like that, and just have it to people's availability. So, it's been a long time since my last radio broadcast, which, if I can think about when that would be, last live radio broadcast was probably 2016, 7 years ago. Last podcast that I was leading by myself was probably 2020, if I remember correctly. I started podcasting the same year I stopped doing broadcasts, right? Everyone was like, oh, well, people really like the podcast. Personally, I feel like streaming is the best of both worlds. Like, it is 100% your chance to, get online with your peoples, talk in real time. You can parlay, you can do the whole 9 yards, you can show videos, you can do this, you can have guests, all this kind of stuff. And then if you missed it, dog, just go check it out. So Vivid Life TV will be that. going live Wednesday. I don't know how long I'm going to go on Wednesday. I'm flying to Indianapolis. I'm flying to Indianapolis on Thursday. That's something that just came up today. Paul, I'm going to tell you about that. It's just freaking crazy. Which means that I can't go to Atlanta this weekend, or maybe I can. I don't know if I should. It just depends on what happens with this week in Indianapolis. But I'm super excited about that. I'll be going live probably closer to actually the official flyer will have the time. But if you're subscribed, check it out. You'll see it. We'll be talking about different topics. We'll have topics every week, very much kind of a focused conversation. It's only 90 minutes, so you know how that goes. But I wanted to drop that in here and announce that. And of course, with all of the attention that we have coming towards Instagram, TikTok, YouTube from Art Basel, this is going to be a really good time, obviously, to kind of drop that and announce that. So I am over time by 13 minutes. No harm in that, other than the fact that I'm starving, and this is the second day in a row I haven't eaten since until like late afternoon. But I'm actually gonna hop off now and get the day kind of continuing on with more and more and more. So if y'all are tuned in, if y'all are subscribed, thanks for subscribing. If you're on Twitch, check out my latest clips. Yo, it's the funniest. It's the funniest thing in the world when people talk to me about Call of Duty, because lately I've been playing Call of Duty Warzone, and I am not afraid to say that, like, number one, I haven't played Call of Duty in forever until Warzone came out, free beta version, when Paul was at like, oh, you should jump on, you should jump on. Okay, cool. Like, my last Call of Duty I played was whatever Call of Duty it was that had Nuketown in it. Like, I think that's Modern Warfare 2 or something like that. Like 2011 shit, 10 maybe. And so where was I going with this? I met someone yesterday and just talking cash, and I'm prestige, and I'm this, and I'm like, all right, dog, I'm level 21. Like, I hear you, I hear everything you're saying, dude, but like, that's not me. I'll get there one day. You know, my kill death ratio is 0.14. But if you're on the Twitch, man, I'll be online streaming the games, have a conversation with the boys. I like to have a decent sized party online so that the conversations can be heard. Everyone knows it's recorded. We can drop those onto the Twitch. And then, of course, YouTube. We have the vlogs coming out as often as possible. I have quite a bit of a vlog from this past weekend. Actually, from this past week, period. Art Basel included, pre-Art Basel, modeling for Deco Drive on South Florida's WSDN 7, the whole line. There's been a lot. And if you want to truly keep up with what's going on, Instagram is cool, dog, but I'm telling you, these blogs be on the YouTube. So subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for all of the upcoming videos, community posts, shorts, and live streams like this one. We're officially on pace for my goal of 1,200 views per month. How could I complain, dog? So look, I'm gonna get some Caribbean food real quick because I'm starving. Gonna knock out some work, and then I'll be hopping online later to get some gaming in. Y'all have a great afternoon. Be safe. And I will see you all on Wednesday. So I'm signing out.